For close to 3 decades, Greg Surrett Forgach built a career in banking leadership, a world defined by structure, discipline, and precision. But behind the scenes, another voice was growing louder, a voice shaped by melody, emotion, and the need to tell a story. After releasing 2 albums with Rise Entertainment, Greg emerges in full creative force, producer, songwriter, and storyteller. This is the journey behind the music. So, before these 2 albums, before any of the songs you ever wrote were produced, most people knew you from a different world, which was your decades in banking leadership. What opened the door for you to step into songwriting and finally let that part of yourself speak?
This is something I've had a passion for ever since ever since I can remember, to be honest with you. I found that was a outlet for me. Songwriting, writing in general, but songwriting because I had such a passion for music. I loved writing lyrics to express myself because being gay, growing up in the South, so taboo. I had no outlet. I
So
had nobody to talk to.
Was this a way for you to sort of absorb those emotions that you had to keep hidden?
I don't think absorb is the right word. I think release.
Okay.
It was a way for me to express myself and my emotions and my feelings in a very private way that was for my eyes only.
And now you're sharing that with the world.
I am. A lot has changed since that little boy who killed everything inside.
So let's talk about the 2 albums, because right now you just released your second album
I did.
about a month ago.
And I would like to say it's not doing too bad.
So the second album is I Am the Revolution, and we'll get to that in a moment. But as you listen to these first 2 albums, and I've got a little behind the scenes stuff, exposure to this, but we'll get into that later. What do you think has changed? So as you listen to them, what's the difference to you? Not just as a writer, as a musician, as an artist, as a person. What's the difference you hear on those 2?
That first album for me was all those things that I could go through that I couldn't share. Being able to finally bring that to life and share those emotions with people that I never shared before. Going into the second album, I found my strength, regardless of what society said, regardless of what my religious teaching said, regardless of what my family, everybody was saying. I had to overcome that. I am the revolution to make that change. And that's what this album's all about, overcoming those challenges.
So is it safe to say that the first album, which by the way, a lot of the songs on the first album you wrote in high school?
I did.
But is it safe to say that that first album is really more of an expression of your youth, of love, of disappointment, of all of these emotions that you go through when you're 15, 16, 18, 20? And the second album is the adult Greg looking back and saying, I'm empowered to do this. I am the one who can take this, and I need to take ownership of that and sort of break out of that mold that you felt you were put into for so many years.
Mold is one way to put it. I consider it a box.
So I think it's safe to say that both albums do carry a certain emotional weight. And we've talked a little bit about the difference between them, but in themes of identity, resilience, finding your voice, which song? So at what point in this journey, when you were putting these together, did you realize you're not just making music, you're actually telling your story?
That's a great question. My first album, I just found the tools and the resources and the strength, to be quite honest with you, to share what I always wanted to share.
Yeah.
My second album is when I started to bring my current situation into words, to start expressing things that are going on with me in today's time. To your point, though, there was one song that I wrote, and it's called Teach Me Lies.
And you wrote that recently.
I wrote that recently. So Teach Me Lies was my way of saying, I now am out of an age where I did not have to be scared of myself. I did not have to feel like I wasn't as meaningful or as important or as true as everyone else around me.
Kept me in the shadows where I never did belong. Teach me lies, tell me it's wrong. Teach me lies, make me weak and not strong.
The song Teach Me Lies confronts the wounds left by religious zealotry, the kind that tells LGBTQ people they're broken, sinful, and unworthy of love. Greg turns pain into truth, laying bare the damage those lives carve into a person and reclaiming the strength to heal and embrace acceptance.
And that message, I realized at that moment, that message wasn't just for me. That message is for every little boy out there or every grown man out there that's gone through exactly what I've went through.
And I think part of this anthem isn't just you breaking out, but trying to get maybe folks who are doing that today to understand how dangerous that is. So let's talk about you and your husband, who I hear is a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he's all right.
The two of you built, two of us built Arise Entertainment together. And we do a lot more than music, but as it pertains to the music, this became a core sort of key component in the foundation. What was collaboration like behind the scenes? And I'm not joking when I ask about the late nights, the breakthroughs, the tense moments, the
arguments.
Yeah, but how did that shape the music? Did it shape the music?
Not speaking of you in the third term here or second term, I appreciate you so much. You pushed me further out of my comfort zone with this song because I think you knew you know the impacts that my upbringing has had. You know the things that you've been through and I've been through collectively and on our own. And when I first, well, anytime I run a song by you, you can look at me and you know if I am letting you hear it because I am just beaming with joy that this is it, or if I'm looking for your approval. And you know that when I'm looking for your approval, that is not the end result. And I was looking for your approval on Teach Me Lies. And you kept saying, no, you're holding back. I haven't heard your breakthrough. I haven't heard your crescendo, whatever you want to call it. Keep working at it. And I would get mad and frustrated. And I was thinking, you're just nitpicking. You're making me mad. But deep inside, I knew you were right. I knew you were right. Or I would have never went back to the drawing board.
Well, the song itself, the first couple of drafts were really good. Don't get me wrong. They were really good. But I knew you were looking for something that was more like an anthem, something that represented the moment where you said to hell with everybody else. And I didn't feel like the previous versions of that. And you didn't really change the words as much. You changed the emotional resonance of the song. And you did that in such a way, and you lifted the music that feeds the chorus in such a way that it actually felt more like a breakthrough. And you could imagine you standing on top of a stage screaming that out.
Or a mountain.
Or a mountain. But I think
church parking lot, I don't know.
and I don't want to focus just on Teach Me Lies. I think there's a lot of other songs. I mean, we collaborate to some degree on everything. But it's always your vision, your words, your lyrics, your music. It's not me. I'm just I'm just the one that tells you, hey, this sounds good, or maybe we could do something different. But I'm thinking about some of the other ones that we did. I know Feel the Heat. We actually, part of the collaboration was the title.
Yes, yes.
It wasn't the music. I love the
Because
song.
I was originally going to call it Can You? And after speaking with you, I'm like, you're right. My audience isn't going to really relate to that title as much for what that song was about. The song was a playful song.
Can you feel it? It's time.
Talk about the creative turning point.
Okay.
So every songwriter has a moment where a lyric or a melody
Mhm.
hits them so hard they know, oh, this is going to change everything, right? This is the moment. For both albums, was there a moment where you finished a song and went, okay, this is a turning point. This is like a whole new me. And I think I know the answer, or I know a answer. I want to see what you say.
Okay. There was one song. Oh, actually, I should correct. There was 2 songs on my first album that were not written when I was a kid. One was written through a very, very scary time of you and I separating.
Ashes Grow Cold.
Ashes Grow Cold. And if you listen to that song, all hope of this relationship was extinguished. And I was in therapy and was told to write you a letter, not to give to you, for me. And I wrote that
It
song.
was part of your emotional.
Yes, that's where that song came from.
We painted the midnight in violent gold, stories of glory that couldn't be told. We burned through the timber, we burned through the floor, begging the flames to give us some more. We thought we were the sun, suspended in time, committing the perfect, beautiful crime. But the higher it burns, the harder it ends. We're strangers now who used to be friends. Look at the ruins, the story is told. Here in the dark where the ashes grow cold.
That song actually helped me to start thinking really, really hard about how the things that impacted my life, how I was using that as an excuse to push you away, to just constantly make you test your love for me, to the point where you were like, I need to walk away from this because this is now damaging me. That's how I felt you were feeling. The second song I wrote, and this is going to sound a little funny, but Paranormal Pulse. That song was because we created this company. We created our series, Chris and Grace on the Road Trip. For those of y'all that don't know, yes, I'm in a series. And
Hey, I'm in the series too.
yeah, well, I'm serious. So,
I see it.
and that song helped me realize, and it also inspired me to do the second album. And the reason, because I was like, I forgot how much I love writing. I forgot how much I love expressing myself. And I wanted to create an anthem, not an anthem, but a song for our show that was us. It was personal.
Flashlights cutting through the deep night. Old rusted gates, a truly chilling sight. Got our EMF readers, a camera crew of 2, ready to film whatever ghosts decide to do. Oh, the paranormal pulse is getting strong. Where the veil is thin and things just feel alright.
So let's talk about Paranormal Pulse for just a second, because
Sure.
I remember the writing of that song because I was driving the entire time you were writing.
I wrote it over 3 days?
Yeah, it was a 3-day
Most
period.
of it in the car and at a laundromat washing my dad's comforter.
Yes, we were going to visit your dad. But I think a couple of nights before so we were putting together season 3. We're talking about season 3. And if you've watched our show, then you know what I'm about to say. If you haven't, go watch the show. But the theme music we had pulled from the internet. We give credit, we've got free use for it. But I was like, why are we doing that when I know a really good songwriter? And so I think I challenged you, hey, why don't you write a song for a show? And you took off with that. But I think this is where collaboration really goes in. Because
You were my muse. Seriously, a lot of stuff you are my muse for, because I don't just. It's hard for me to just go out and do things sometimes because I still have that I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. You help pull me out of that a lot.
And I think I want to get to that in just a second. But we talked earlier about collaboration. This was one of those moments because you would write like the chorus and you would come back and say, here's what I've got. And I may say, and I know I'd said this a couple of times on different things, I don't like that word.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not use that word because and I don't even remember what it was now at this point, but it was things, or, would we say it that way? And so as you're writing the lyrics, that was a time when we would collaborate. Otherwise, I was just listening or whatever because you had your headphones on so that you weren't distracted by anything. And then you would stop and we would talk a little bit. But that was, to me, and you'll see it in season 3. We use that, the song in season 3. I love it. But I want to go back to our topic, which was there a moment that you felt like, wow, this is going to change everything? I'll tell you where I saw a change.
I Am the Revolution.
I Am the Revolution. And I say that because I know that song was also written. We had both been having a really bad week. Nothing personal with us, it was just a messy, ugly week. And as couples, it's not that you don't like each other, hate each other, but sometimes when you're both having bad weeks, you sort of just bump into each other and it just becomes this thing. And that's when that fed the song.
Yeah, but I think there's something that you're missing too.
What?
When I left corporate, all of a sudden, I didn't have that busyness in my life. And I had time to just sit and think about me. I got depressed. You went through it with me. I got very depressed on how I started dwelling on all the shit that I hadn't thought about for years. And that is what helped spark I Am the Revolution. I am the only person in my life that can break through those clouds and claim my own skies. And that's what I did with the help of my husband.
And I watched you go through it, and it was very, and I'm really proud of you getting out in front of this. And this kind of leads to our next question, but I'm really proud of you because I remember the day you pulled out that notebook or the file and said, oh my gosh, look at all of these songs I've written that are
1980.
I wasn't going to give a year, but okay. And then it was like, you wanted to sit down and put music to them and, let's bring these to life. So let's talk a little bit because let's face it, right now, we're going through an explosion of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And AI is being used, to create videos that are fake, to create news that's fake, to create people that are fake, but it's also used by people to create music.
Mm-hmm.
And while that in and of itself isn't a bad thing, there are people who will go and say, hey, AI, write a song about me falling in love.
Yeah.
And and AI creates the lyrics, AI creates the melodies, AI creates the song, AI creates the title. And basically they just feed it in and 5 minutes later it's done. What do you want your listeners to understand about your creativity and your songs? And I say that because we can tell you it's not your voice.
No, it's not my voice. No, I never claimed to. I don't even, personally, I don't even like the apps that will take your voice and make it sound really good. So it is you.
Kind of the auto-tune.
Yeah, I don't want to fake anything anymore. I've spent a life of living a double life. You know, you have to be this one person in front of family and work and in society, and then another person in your own kind of closet, if you would, of trying to have friends and have your own life behind the spotlight of society. And all that spotlight of society, 90% of it was fake. It was fake. And so when I started doing my music, I don't want to be fake. Now, what I will say is this. AI has definitely helped me to bring a lot of my sound and a lot of my my creativity to a point that I can share it. Because I can't, none of us really, not many of us can, afford to go into these big studio productions and have millions of dollars at the disposal to have all these different people, do this stuff. And there's one thing that you might want to realize is even these mega artists, there's not many they don't make their own music. They help create the sound. They help influence it. They don't probably write their own lyric. They sing it and they own that song, but there's a collaboration. And what I've done is I've taken that same mentality and I've used multiple platforms, multiple tools, multiple devices, and I've used all that with my own emotion, my lyrics, my creativity, to use that as a tool to get to where I am today and able to do these albums.
But the words, the sound, all of that is unapologetically you.
100% me.
And I think that's important because even though we do label ourselves an entertainment company, and hopefully we do entertain, we do not have the multi-million-dollar, production studios. And
Yet.
Yeah.
No, we're not looking for that.
Let us introduce you to the employees who make all of this happen. It's us. And so using tools like this that have come out, and even the ability to, create our own music videos.
Mm-hmm.
So like the video for I Am the Revolution, you did that yourself.
Yes.
You did. So again.
Oh, now you were talking about my videos?
Well, hang on. Again, you could go to AI and say, here's a picture of me, create a video for this song, and it'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you do.
No. I came to you one day and I said, I had this vision in my head on how I want my videos to look. And the very first video I did was for Paranormal Pulse. And you showed me, what you've learned on editing our paranormal show. I worked on that video for 3 days straight, long hours, way up into the night. And you didn't see me hardly. I might come out for some food.
Well, there were nights I went on to sleep.
And I would be up to way in the morning.
Yeah.
But even when I finished that video and you looked at it, you were so amazed at, wow, I would have never thought to open it like that. I would have never thought to do this or never thought to do that. Now, I'm not saying this is a masterpiece by no means, but I think for my first video and not having any type of training aside of me playing with the system and trying to bring my creativity and my vision to life, I'm very proud of it. I think it tells a
would be
really good
too.
story.
And I think it's important for the viewers to know that the tools we talk about are not AI tools. The audio and the video editing tools, these are largely what companies use, the big companies. So it may be DaVinci and other tools that give us the ability to control. So like when I master your track, I'm listening to, what's the field depth of it? And does it sound like it's a little tinny? Does it sound like you're doing it in a little room? Can we get a little bit more breath out of the sound? And the same thing with the video. You're looking at transitions, and you're looking at timings, and you're looking at what works well, and how do we layer all of these different things? Because most of what you see in movies and TV aren't two-dimensional images. They're layers of images, layers of sound.
That's a good point. So there are some clips in my videos that people look at and they'll say, oh, that's cute. But what they don't realize is that may be 10 to 15 different things in that one clip. Things overlaid, transitions, the sounds, the different things that are coming in, the lights. There's so many different things per little clip that you just would never even imagine that wasn't just one thing.
Right. For us, this isn't about success or failure. It's just about being honest. It's about being ourselves. It's about living our true life and seeing, what we can do and where we can do it. So if you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever said, wow, I'd love to do X, but I don't sing well. I don't have the ability to understand video editing. I don't have whatever excuse you're giving yourself. If you're feeling that, stop it. Just say don't.
In a world that's do it, I say don't. Don't love to dance, don't love to sing, don't love to get into the groove of things. Don't push too fast.
Just dance.
It's time to get up and dance. This beat's got me in a trance.
I promise you, following your dreams will
take you to places you never dreamed you could go. Emotionally, spiritually, whatever your beliefs are. Just, be true to yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks you should be or who you should be. Be true to yourself. Who gives a shit? I don't care if a little baby's playing with a truck or a baby doll. Don't teach them that one's right and one's wrong because of their biological makeup.
just let them enjoy the moment.
Let them be them.
And don't be afraid to follow your dreams. I think that's an important one coming out of this. And I think the second album, I Am the Revolution, speaks to that. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams, and don't forget that you're the revolution you've been waiting on. So if you've been waiting for some reason to follow your dreams, now's the time.
You are your own revolution.
Yes. Thanks. We will talk to you folks again in the future.
Yeah, this has been fun, guys.
And now I've got to go do some editing. So
Yeah. All right. More videos coming out. I'm releasing my album. One song's out, I Am the Revolution. There's going to be a second song dropping soon with a video. Hope you like it. Subscribe, share, and with that, peace out.
This has been Behind the Beat with Greg Surrett Forgach. Be sure to listen, follow, and subscribe to stay connected. And for more from Arise Entertainment, including our games, music, shows, and exclusive products, visit us at ariseent.com. Thanks for tuning in.